24-year-olds on the front row. Paul Menard on the pole and Casey Kane outside of row 1. There's Robbie Gordon, the winner from Richmond, the Busch race there. And row 2 next to Kyle Busch, who will drop to the rear of the field. Martin Truex Jr. and Ron Hornaday in row 3.
Ron Hornaday trying his best to find him a job for 2005. Blake Feast takes it over the 00 car.
David Green's last win came in this track, in this race 1 year ago. Cars still grouping together on the racetrack. We can get some of the final stories from pit road. Let's start with Marty.
Bill, I can tell you what Robbie Gordon told me before he got into the car and this race started. Last time we saw the 55 car at a Busch Series race, it was Richmond just a few weeks ago, and this same car Robbie took to Victory Lane. I asked him how good the car is today. He looked behind me and said, "Where's Victory Lane?" "Over there." That's where we're going today. We're going to win this thing. The car is that good. The one guy I have to beat, Tony Stewart. Matt?
Marty, on Tuesday night, third in points, Jason Leffler received a phone call from a crew member in the 00 team telling Jason they were told to take his seat out of the car in exchange for Blake Feast's seat. Then Jason read online that he was being replaced in the 00. His legal team went to work, and Thursday night he won a temporary restraining order and injunction that said Jason had to practice, qualify, and race the car. The team appealed and prevailed. Now Blake Feast will get a good opportunity to gain a lot of seat time as he prepares to go Busch Series racing full-time in 2005. Dave?
Matt, just wanted to make sure everyone knew who was in the 9 car today. It's not Mark Martin, it's Matt Kenseth in the second of 3 races he'll do in the Pennzoil number 9. Now, he qualified 33rd, so I checked in with the crew. Unfortunately, last night in the final practice, they were unable to find any more speed in the car. Great concern as to how far forward Matt can move today. Bill?
$1.3 million on the line for the Busch Series today. 200 laps, 300 miles, and the pit window, 65 to 70 laps. Probably a little shorter if we stay green through the first 60 laps or so. We'll see what happens.
And you can see the 4th race on this facility.
And it's a great place to come watch a race.
Is it ever?
A couple of 24-year-olds bringing them down. Paul Menard and Casey Kane, 28th race of the NASCAR Busch Series season, about to take the green flag at Kansas City.
See Hornaday with one of his typically awesome starts, just couldn't do anything with it yet.
Here comes Robbie Gordon for the lead, and they're on the outside, the 38 car. Who's going to come out of turn 2? Man, and Casey Kane loves the outside in that 38.
Paul Menard really wanted to lead the first lap here, but doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Boy, Paul's move up there.
Robbie Gordon leads lap 1. Here comes Hornaday behind the 8. Kane on the outside.
Truex goes a second, and you're right. Casey Kane the outside did not work well for him on turn 4.
Robbie pushes up. Truex looks underneath. Down the backstretch.
Man, look at that 8 car go.
If I was in the 8 car right now, you know, you're excited that you're going forward, but the car is almost too good too soon. And that may mean that over the long haul it's going to tighten up and not be what he needs at the end of a run.
Robbie coming back on the inside. Gordon leads the lap.
So Truex still hasn't led a lap, hasn't received 5 bonus points. Oh, look out! Look
Trouble,
out!
there they go. The 2 and the 8. Hornaday, Truex into the wall, one of the championship contenders. And a crowd behind them.
There's Blake Feast at 00. Just, I don't think he even touched the wall.
Maybe kissed it. Yep, with the
He
right
did
rear.
kiss it a little bit with the right rear, you're right.
Caution is out.
Man, the 8 car just tried to drop down in behind the 55, and the 2 unfortunately was there.
He was hunting for the bottom of the racetrack, and unfortunately the nose of the 2, as you said, Jimmy, was already there. And they're having some discussion about that.
Take care of the car.
Truex Jr. in the 8 car came in as the championship leader. Significant damage to that machine.
Until we see a replay, I still think that the 8 kind of tried to get inside of a hole that wasn't really there.
That's what it looked like to me, Jimmy. And I wonder how in the world they're going to put fuel in this car. There's a lot of work on the left rear quarter area because that's where the fuel filler goes in, and there's that's mangled up. 2 mangled to put gas in it right now.
Truex, Hornaday on pit road. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I was going to say they've got some major damage to cars, you know, limping sideways down the road. They're going to lose multiple laps trying to get this thing back in action. And at this point, the 5 just has to hit his marks and have a clean day, and they're going to make up a lot of points on this 8 team.
All right, let's take a look at what happened.
Hornaday rolls in there trying to get there to the bottom, and man, that's a racing incident. Ron's trying to follow Robbie Gordon through, and the 8 wanted to close the door as fast as he could and pulled it down, and they unfortunately met there at the bottom. It's hard to place blame on anyone, solid blame on anyone. It was a little from each guy.
But the 8 car is going to blame the 2, and the 2 is going to blame Nick. That's the way it goes.
Absolutely. Now this angle, it looks like the 8 comes down across the 2, so wasn't a lot of room there either way.
When you saw the 8 car coming down, though, that's why I said look out. You knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, we could see it coming, and you know, early in the race like this, I know he wanted to lead that lap and get the 5 points, but unfortunately the aggression's taken him out.
Robbie Gordon takes the field to the green. Truex and Hornaday, the only 2 drivers that have been running at the end of all 27 races this season. And Truex came in with that 152-point lead over Kyle Busch.
Casey Kane could not keep his car on the bottom of the racetrack down in 1 and 2, allowed David Green, the 37, to get position, and
Casey's on the high side. That's his favorite place to be. I don't know how he can make it work. Even in the Cup race, he's always a lane or so higher than everyone, and somehow makes it work.
In happy hour today for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series, Casey Kane practiced the high line.
Benny almost left the booth when he saw that.
I need a white line to follow, I guess. If they would paint one around the second groove up there, I'd be in great shape.
Tony Stewart.
The 81 car going by the 11, the pole sitter, Paul Menard. And I tell you, the folks in the garage area said that 81 is going to be difficult to beat today.
The thing that's tough in the Busch Series is how you only get 2 or 3 sets of tires. I think it's probably 2 here. So, you know, you don't have a lot of chances to work on your race cars, and I think that's why you see the Busch Series teams in qualifying, they focus more on the race runs. Then it's more important for them to get the balance of the car and not even really pay attention to qualifying.
The tire rule here is 3 sets. And that's done to theoretically save these teams money, but certainly can have an impact on the outcome of the race, depending on how you manage your tires. Stewart moving forward. More on Tony from Marty.
Yeah, started 5th, our 11th, Bill, now in the 5th position for Tony Stewart. And believe it or not, this is the car that Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the Bristol race with. Kevin Mannion, the crew chief for Martin Truex, kind of runs the 81 team as well. Brought the car back, cut the body off, put a new body on it for a Speedway. Martin Truex tested this car Tony Stewart's driving last week at Charlotte. Very happy with it. They did all race practice yesterday in the morning and in the evening. Tony said the car is excellent.
Kenny Wallace. That's the higher than high groove.
Jimmy, that's what happened when you get outside that dark area, the groove.
Definitely. I watched those guys. They were in a pretty tight pack coming off of turn 2, and Kenny was at the front of it, and unfortunately that turned sideways.
Matt?
Well, Bill, he just came on the radio and said, I am sliding all over this racetrack. I am sliding in those really bad boys. I am in big trouble.
At least he didn't hit the wall. He's not in that big of trouble.
When we talk about grooves, we're basically talking about 2 lanes. It'd be like driving down a 2-lane road that doesn't quite have a full second lane, right?
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, where the darkest part of the track is usually slick. That's where the right side rubber is going down, and just above it or below it, it's not as dark, and it's a little cleaner, and you can get grip on it. So, you know, as you're playing with that and working up, trying to find the cleanest track to get a hold of, you know, if you jump that cushion, you're now in the marbles and moving up fast and in trouble.
Oh, I see. He might have gotten a little help in that 29 car,
yes.
Brandon Miller.
You see the dirt flying up. He's up in the marbles, and Kenny must have raced on a dirt track before. That was a good save.
I guarantee that. On board with Kenny Wallace in the Stacker 2 machine.
Need to get the left side of the car heavy.
Eat some, gain some weight. Get that left side heavy. Oh, we see Nemechek getting very loose on the bottom of the racetrack as he tries to get by the pole sitter Paul Menard. They battle for 11th and 12th.
And Joe's car's
all over
wobbling around pretty good.
Kyle Busch had a good qualifying run. Qualified in the 4th spot, but had to drop to the rear of the field because of a tire change.
And he's up to 18th already in this 5 car. So yes, I think maybe the gamble worked out. Going to the back of the field. Talking to Lance McGrew, they didn't know exactly what to do. They could have put on the left front tire was cut. They could have put on a new tire, kept their position, but they wanted a scuff tire. They decided they want 4 tires that matched, so they chose to go to the rear.
And they have been marching their way forward. This is the race for second. David Stremme looking out forward at Casey Kane.
And David Stremme, the 32 car, first time to the Kansas Speedway. Friday morning, his first lap around this racetrack. So hats off to Stremme.
I really think a lot of David Stremme. Actually, he and I have something in common. We both came from the ASA ranks and had the same crew chief, Howie Leto, there in the ASA ranks. So we have something in common. And I know when I had moved on to the Busch Series already, Howard kept telling me, man, you got to watch out for this David Stremme. He's going to come through and do a good job.
Started 9th today. Let's move forward to 3rd. Matt Kenseth in the 9.
Goes in the 19th as he goes by Casey Mears in the 1.
Martin Truex came into this race with a 152-point lead over Kyle Busch. And that lead is slowly diminishing down to 74, and the 8 is behind the wall.
And as the 5,
go ahead,
sorry,
BB.
Bill, as the 5 car continues to go forward and pass cars, that number will get smaller and smaller, difference between 1st and 2nd.
Those are the AC Delco points as they run standings. So Robbie Gordon continues to run out front. Casey Kane and David Stremme chasing. Green flags out. We'll be back to Kansas. Green flag out. The 81 of Tony Stewart and the 99 of Michael Waltrip did not pit. Everybody else pitted under the caution, lap 76.
And Hornaday, that 2 car, trying to stay in front of the leader, Tony Stewart, racing it really hard, could not quite make it.
Really hard.
And with the lucky dog rule, all that the 2 has to do is just stay there behind the 81 if you can. And, you know, obviously they just took the restart, so there isn't going to be anybody else getting lapped right away. So Hornaday just hangs in there and hopes that a caution comes out. He'll be the recipient of the lucky dog. They're trying to wreck back there. I know the camera hasn't panned back there, but they were trying to.
Right back in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a wreck looking for a place to happen. Yeah.
To Robbie Gordon in the 55 there in the middle of that.
Well, there it is.
There we go.
Tim Feeder with a 12 car and the 5.
Kyle
Busch is involved.
And this is why it's so big that that team got the 8 car back out on the track. The 43 is involved.
It's Aaron Fike in 43. A lot of damage to that car. Man, he hit something hard.
What's that
58
phrase?
car,
Drama?
Brent Sherman. Yep.
Here's drama.
You saw the 5 car drive through the screen. So now the 2 championship leaders have both been involved in wrecks. Martin Truex Jr. on lap 3, and now with 81 laps on the board, Kyle Busch, and that car has significant damage.
The key, I think, is if the
We need
radiator...
to look at the toe. The hood is beat up pretty good, guys. We got clearance issues on both fronts. The nose is pretty flat. How's your water pressure right there? About 4.
Kyle Busch heads to pit road from the chopper, BP.
And the key is the radiator broken in the 5 car? There we see Tim Fiedler in the 12 tries to stay off that white car. He turns the car down the hill. When he does, he spins, and Aaron Fike ran plowed in the back of the 58 of Brent Sherman, and these cars are still flying through the wreck. You see those cars flying through the wreck?
They're trying to get slowed down. It does look like the 5 maybe dropping some fluid. That's gonna be bad for him. But you see Kyle's trying to get stopped. The problem is he's on low tire pressures, and the car snaps back to the right there. There wasn't any contact, just a low pressures, hard on the brakes, and it snapped back to the right.
Oh, Blake Feeds in that 00 just barely squeezes through.
And you saw them rehearsing this, huh?
Yeah, they were trying, and it was actually a little further back, but man, you just see the 12 clips the side of the white car, whichever that was, and comes around.
That might have been Ashton Lewis Jr. in the 46.
Busch had climbed within 62 points of Truex before that crash. Wally Dallenbach with an onboard camera. It's David Green on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of bounds if you can. Get out of bounds there. Good job. Come on. Clear. Good job.
This is Mark. I'm sorry.
Spin in front of you. Back it down. The car is up against the wall. Inside. Watch out. God! What is he doing? Oh, my Lord. Good there, buddy. Nice job, buddy.
That's Mark
Double
Truex.
zero about killed you, but you're all right.
As a driver, that screaming is not a good thing.
Burns.
Right before you heard the radio transmissions from Kyle's crew, they verified what Benny said. They said the radiator is the key.
Tony Stewart continues to lead, but he is about 5 laps or so away from having to pit under green. He last pitted on lap 65. There's the battle for second.
And Ron Hornaday in that 2 car, the last month or so, he has been much better than the beginning of the year. Marty?
BP, just real quick talking about Greg Biffle in the 60 light blue car you see up there in front of Hornaday. They can go further than most of the other cars. They can go to lap 150 or so before they have to stop for fuel. Tony Stewart in front of him, the leader, has to pit in about 4 laps, as Bill said. Matt?
It's taken Ron Hornaday nearly half the race, but he's back in contention. Now the problem for Hornaday, his window opens up in 2 laps. He can go anywhere from lap 133 to 155, but he will have to take on 4 tires, while a driver like Joe Nemechek's riding back there with 4 good tires. He only has to do a gas and go.
How much gas does he have to put in, Matt? Will 1 can do it?
They're looking at that right now. Gary Putnam is cracking the numbers, and they'll see if it's 1 or maybe 1.5.
See if they can do 1 can. You're talking about 8-9 seconds, and that's a decent strategy.
Absolutely. If it's more than 1 can, I think these guys would be wise to go ahead and take 2 tires, under this green flag stop.
Check this white car out that just went by. Ashton Lewis is currently running in the, 5th position? Out of boy. Ashton saw him this week in lunch. They're closing the doors on this shop at the end of the year.
That's too bad, because that's a family-run race team. His father's involved, his brother's involved, and, I know it's a pretty tight organization. I hate to see that happen to those guys.
Dave.
Well, talking to Ashton this morning, he said, you know what, the future is just not our type of team, that family-run organization in the Busch Series. And plus, it could be better for my career if I find something else in the way of driving. But you know what, he's going to have a future in this sport either way. With an engineering degree from Old Dominion, Ashton will be involved in motorsports, even if it's not driving after this. Just talk to Charlie, his brother, about their strategy for the end of the race. They can make it to lap 175 on fuel, but he's thinking about pitting earlier to short pit when they hit their fuel window coming up soon.
Speaking of Ashton being an engineer, he was actually an engineer for the 24 car back when I worked there back in the late 90s.
Was he really?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Huh. So did you teach him anything, or did he teach you something?
He actually showed up right before I left, and we didn't really interact a whole lot. I was pretty busy with the body development and fabrication and changing tires, and he was kind of looking at crunching numbers and going through the computers. So we didn't work together a whole lot. And he's actually, he's got a bit of a fender rub there, it looks like, on his tire.
Wow.
Man, man. They're trying to find a place to wreck. Wally was able to get by all these cars, and meanwhile the 10, the white car, Gus Lawson, about got tagged by Robert Presley in the 47. There's that Jason guy, Keller, in the 22 again.
He won't let you forget that. A 21 of pit road, black flag done for the day, too slow. So Clint Boyer's day at Kansas is over.
Hometown boy.
Drove past this place about 100 times, he said, driving around this area while they were building it, watching them race.
Said he used to race at a dirt track about 5 miles from here. So he was so excited to be here at this racetrack today, talking about Clint Boyer in the 21.
They've also black flagged the 10 of Gus Wasson for not staying in your lane.
So he wandered a little bit, did he? Well, sometimes they won't handle well enough to stay in the same lane.
Ron Hornaday, who's climbed to third, was 35th after his contact with the 8 car on lap 3. There's Hornaday, looking for a win and looking for a ride.
I cannot believe Tony Stewart is just out there pulling those guys like that. He's done a very good job of saving his tires for the end of this run.
Let's find out what's going on with the 81. Marty, what do you got?
Well, I just talked to Pete Rondouville about when they will come down pit road, and he said because of all the riding around under caution they've done, that's added to the amount of laps Tony Stewart can stay out there. So about lap 145-ish now, maybe even as late as 150, they'll try and stretch it and see how long the 81 can stay out there. Because they want to stay out there as long as they can to have the freshest tires possible at the end of the race.
And you say, well, why doesn't he stop and get those fresh tires now? Because if he should stop and something happens on the racetrack, the caution flag comes out, it's going to take him at least a lap to stop, change tires, and get back after. He's going to be a lap down.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to get a lap down here. It's so difficult to pass on tracks like this, especially fast cars. You know, when you're passing lap cars, you can get by them, but if you're up there battling for position, it's difficult to pass them, guys.
Okay, so Tony's going to stay out there. He's the race leader. We'll keep an eye on him. We'll come back for pit stops here at Kansas. The leader, Tony Stewart, coming to pit road after 144 laps on the board, about to start working 145. Stewart last pitted on lap 65, stretched his fuel, made it safely, now coasts to his pits.
Long ways down pit road.
All the way down there. Rolling down pit road at 45 miles an hour to Marty Snyder.
Yeah, Billy said this set of tires just a little bit tighter than the last set of tires, and it's tighter off of 2 than it is off of 4. So what they're going to do is take a pound out of both left sides for Tony Stewart, and that's the only chassis change. That should loosen the car up a little bit. Clearly, he's had a very fast car on this last run. 4 tires and the fuel going in. Long time on the left front. That will hurt. Long pit stop for the 81 bunch. Matt?
Butch Hilton calling the 2 car, Ron Hornaday, into his stall. He told Ron, let's pit now. He goes, are you sure you want to pit now? He said, the 81's already on pit road. If you want to win, we got to come now. No chassis adjustments. Left side tires going on. Solid stop by the 2 guys. Marty.
Matt, Robbie Gordon went from really, really loose to really, really tight, and they've let a tire get away from the 55 car. It is rolling down pit road. That most likely will, nope, one team stopped it, so that will not turn into a penalty for the 55 car. His car was tight, a pound to the right front for Robbie Gordon.
And you're right, if you want to win the race, when the 81 stopped, you had to stop with him. You couldn't let him out there on fresh tires to run maybe 10 or 15 laps and put 10 seconds on you. You had to stop and get your fresh tires as well.
There's your new leader, Greg Biffle. He's going to head to pit road this time.
Same situation. He could run longer, but he can't let the 81 car run out there for 15, 20 laps and run 1 second a lap faster.
All these guys up here that are running up front, they need to pit with the leader if they want to get a shot to win the race. Nobody's battling for points. Nobody's got to be conservative. None of those guys up there have anything to worry about but going for the victory.
Marty.
That's exactly what Brad Parrott told me, the crew chief for Greg Biffle. He said the 81 is going to force our hand. They could have stayed out longer. Car tight for Biffle. Pound out of the right front tire. They also make a wedge adjustment, trying to loosen the car up. They, too, let a tire go. It is going down pit road. That most likely will be a penalty for the 60 car.
Roll it over next to the wall. Now you can go.
That should be an interesting call.
Well, there it is. There's the tire we're talking about. As long as it's over on the other side of the car, does it have to be in your pit box?
Well, that's I don't know how that works. That's a new one on me. The way I would see that is that should be a penalty as far away as that tire got. I don't think if you just get over by the wall that you're scot-free. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. We'll ask those guys in the booth next to us.
So Biffle's crew.
I'm told that it does not have to be in your pit stall. As long as it's back over against pit wall, it's okay.
Well, I'm glad I learned something up here today.
See? Anything we can do to help you?
Now those 5 cars, Stewart in the 81, the 60 of Biffle, the 2 of Hornaday, and the 55 of Robbie Gordon, those 4 cars are slightly out of sequence. Most of the leaders pitted under caution just past halfway.
The thing he was upset about is that it got away, but they had to hold Biffle here until they got the tire on that side of the pit wall, whether it was in their box or not, and that's what cost them sitting on pit road for so long, waiting for someone to go grab the tire and then pull it on this side of the pit lane.
Now I agree with that. He could not leave his pit stall until the tire was back over against pit wall, as Marty said.
Yeah, but I understand the call and I understand the ruling, but that could have really hurt somebody else. If that tire would have rolled into somebody else's pit box, it would have messed up their pit stop. So
then it might have been a different call.
It may have been.
Could have been a different call.
And you see, there we see Wally Dallenbach in the 35. We saw Robbie Gordon go by. You see, that's exactly why those leaders, the guys trying to win, had to stop, because you see how much faster new tires are than used tires.
Here's our Aaron's pit summary. The guys that just stopped.
Oh, wow.
And they fell back those positions because the other guys, for instance, current leader Ashton Lewis, pitted on lap 103. So did Nemechek. So did the 25 car of McLaughlin. So did Dallenbach.
But you see what that cost Biffle. He was in front of Hornaday when they stopped. Now he's 5 positions behind him.
You can win him on pit road. You can lose him there, too. By the way, Benny, Wally's in 4th. Long way to go.
Caution plate comes out now. I could be in trouble.
I'll tell you what, we'll go to Lowe's next week and we'll get you some nice wash buckets and some claws and stuff like that to get you all cleaned up.
Oh, we got Mr. Clean. We got the auto wash. We got
it all squared away.
Oh, yeah, we got the car wash.
It's auto dry, not auto wash. You got to wash.
Okay.
It's auto dry.
Oh, that's right. I got to wash it. It dries itself. Oh, okay. That's right.
Ashton Lewis Jr. in the 46 car, the race leader. A lot of traffic back in the pack. 154 laps on the board. Ashton Lewis leads at Kansas. .158 of 200 laps complete at the Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, and the 46 car driven by Ashton Lewis Jr. is your leader. Followed by Joe Nemechek, Mike McLaughlin, Wally Dallenbach, and David Stremme.
Now, I talked about Ashton Lewis and shutting down the shop at the end of the year. And they made the announcement last week because they wanted their employees to try to hook on with another team. They didn't want to wait until the season was over and say, okay, by the way, guys, we're shutting down, because they felt like they owed it to the guys to try to hook on, get another job.
You saw the points as they run now, and Busch had climbed to within 46 points of Truex Jr. until he wrecked. Wally Dallenbach currently running 4th on the racetrack, and he's going to head to pit road.
Come on down, come on. Bring it down, bring it down. Keep hustling. Come on, come on, come on. 4,300 first gear. Come on down, come on down. Bring it down, bring it down. Come on, halfway.
This is going to be interesting to see what they do.
This is lap 161 while they last pitted on 103. The same lap the current leader Ashton Lewis pitted. Dave Byrne.
Coming in right now, they asked him what he needed. He said the car was a little bit tight in and on the throttle. They're going to make a wedge adjustment there on the left side of the rear window. They're going to change 4 tires for Wally and fill him full of fuel. He fought off several guys trying to pass him in that top 5, including Stremme, to keep his position. Now he's got to get it back.
Matt.
David Stremme, brand new race car, having a great run. They finally make their way to pit road. Track bar adjustment. Going to raise that 1 round. This will be a 4-tire change as well for Stremme. Meanwhile, everyone waiting for Nemechek. to go no tires, 2 tires, or 4 tires when he pits in the next 6 to 7 laps.
Expect to see Ashton Lewis Jr. in about 7 or 8 laps. What are you watching, Chad?
I'm confused. Between the 8 and the 81, I'm having a heck of a time keeping track of who's who.
Yeah, every time I look up, see that Bass Pro Shop's coming off turn 4, I think it's Tony, and I'm always wrong. That's the 81, so where is he now? Let's see, that's
He's
turn
coming
4.
off the 4,
Okay.
yeah. It looks like Hornaday's catching him.
Hornaday in 10th, Tony in 9th.
Did you see the brake dust on that 32 car when they took that right front tire off?
They would use a lot of brake at a track like this to set the nose once they get down into the center of the corner. It actually will help the car turn. Just padding the brake just a little bit gets the front of the nose of the car down a little bit. Helps get some aerodynamic effect on it.
Yeah, BP Martin's pretty impressed too. He came on the radio after they went out and said, you know what, it's really not that bad. I'm kind of surprised at how this car is handling this team. Did a great job, as Bill has said a couple of times. 29 minutes. They had about 28 people working on that 8 car to get it back out. They did inform him the 5 had some problems, so he is aware of that. He knows this can still turn out to be a good day championship-wise for the 18.
Greg Biffle and Robbie Gordon.
It's all
Gordon's
turn 2. Turn 2 where it gets very narrow.
Tell Robbie to keep his hands on the wheel.
Did he wave to him?
He was doing something to him.
Biffle goes by. Gordon falls in behind. Marty?
Bill, yes, he did wave to him. Robbie said, I'm just going to have to let him go. He's running me too hard, and I can't hold on to this thing. It's just too loose right now. That was Robbie Gordon. He did wave Greg Biffle by.
Just slid up the racetrack there a little bit, and the nose swaying a little bit there as well.
When Robbie Gordon, the cars are too loose. They go down in there, and you really just got to let the car go up the racetrack before you get violent with the steering wheel to turn it and make it go the other direction. Let the bank slow it down, lose momentum before you start turning the steering wheel.
It will snap loose on you in a place like this. It can be very, very scary.
So Lewis leads. Nemechek is second. What do you think he's going to do? Because you're going to be watching, when he's pitting, you're going to be watching the 81 of Tony Stewart to see where he's at on the track and how fast he comes around.
Well, we determined how far Nemechek can go on fuel.
Nemechek's going to come about lap 170, maybe even 5 laps or so.
I would bet that they just go ahead and do some fuel and go ahead and get back out there and try to stay ahead of Tony. Because their lap times right there for the 87 compared to the 81 car, there's not a big difference. So if they can come in, get a gas and go, get back out there, they may be able to maintain that advantage.
Let's see what happens. Ashton Lewis continues to lead. Nemechek second, McLaughlin third. There's Robbie Gordon back in the 12th spot now.
Ever seen Nemechek? Talked to Gary Putnam this morning, crew chief on this 87 car, and he said they were struggling with fuel mileage. Not able to get very good fuel mileage at all, so he'll be coming in pretty soon. But you're right, with 32 laps to go, what is the strategy? Just fuel, tires, right sides, 4?
We're going to find out.
It's a mark. Gotta have a good stop, guys.
What are you doing, Chad? What are you going to do?
Well, they're going to have to take tires. I didn't realize the 81 was right on his bumper like that, so he's already got his lap back, so he's going to have to take some tires now.
So Nemechek makes the trip down pit road at 45 miles per hour. Matt?
They're going to make a track bar adjustment, Bill, and also take some air pressure out of both front tires. He felt like running under those caution flag laps earlier, that it had hurt his front tires. The car had gone to the tight side, losing way too much time. Gary Putnam, the crew chief, had to call an audible. Earlier, he wanted to go no tires. He had to go with 4, Dave.
Mike McLaughlin said he wants 2 tires, no changes to the car, right sides only, car full of fuel. Mike leaves.
Good
Marty.
stop.
J.J. Yelly is in for his final pit stop of the day. They have been made several stops, dropped a lug nut on the right front. It'll be 2 tires and fuel only for the 18 car and a tight car for most of the day.
So some guys going for track position here with just 30 to go. Ashton Lewis stays out. And I had heard a report he was doing about lap 170. And we're working 171.
But right behind Ashton Lewis is Tony Stewart.
Dave, you got an update?
175 probably for Ashton Lewis. That was the conservative number thrown at me by the team, so maybe even a little longer.
Wow.
And he's riding out there hoping something's going to happen to help him, isn't he?
Tony's about to catch him here and get his lap back.
And right now, wouldn't it be ironic, Tony Stewart would be the lucky dog if the caution flag were to come out now. And he would be a lucky dog if that happened.
Tony has never won a Busch Series race. One car on pit road. Matt?
John Wolf told me the call is going to be easy for the one at Casey Mears. They're going to have to go 4 tires and make a chassis adjustment. He said the car was just way too tight. They have battled a tight race car today. They've battled a transmission. He couldn't get it into gear. They finally fixed that. Working on a solid run today.
That team's worked hard today.
Yes. I love that front tire changer on the one car, Bill Miller, 55 years old.
He's old school.
He'll get one knee.
Yeah, I remember
Get
watching
the job done.
There's Tony right on the bumper of Ashton Lewis. Stewart in 4th place. Lewis the leader.
And Tony has been able to put some distance on Ron Hornaday in the 2 car. Hornaday came out right behind Tony, and look at, here we go.
And that puts Tony back on the lead lap.
That's not the lead, that's just a lead lap.
That's correct.
Coming this time, coming this time. Left side's open.
Ashton Lewis's team radio, so he will pit this time.
Left sides, why did he change lefts? Just because it's closer, faster stop?
I missed that. Is that what he said he was going to do? Yeah, I guess they're just going to do that to try to get a faster stop. The left side tires have been wearing out a little bit more than the right sides for some guys here this weekend.
Michael Waltrip on pit road in the 99 car. Dave?
Well, Michael told the guys he didn't like what they were doing with the tire pressures on the car. He said, let's go a lot closer to recommended. What they're going to do is change 2 right side tires for Michael, adjust the air pressure just a little bit in those because his car was very, very tight. There go the 2 on the car, 1 can of fuel going in. They're ready to go, and Michael gets out of here. Just misses his guy. 46 of Ashton Lewis in as well. They are going to change, wow, I don't know, did they change 2 left side tires? They did. They changed left sides on Ashton Lewis's car and filled him full of fuel.
They don't never listen to me, do they?
See, I wasn't the only one sleeping during that one.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
there's a caution flag.
That should be.
A potential one.
They got to throw the caution for that.
That's on the backstretch. Watching the flag stand, listening to NASCAR.
And Tony Stewart and those guys really caught a break that did not happen.
Caution down.
10 or 15 laps ago.
And Tony Stewart will be scored as your race leader.
Now, Hornaday's going to be able to come in and change tires, isn't he?
If he has a set left.
Oh, yeah, he does, because I think 2 of these stops have been on the green today.
Yeah, but he stopped under the first caution.
Oh, what's all this?
Ooh. Maybe that's where the debris came from.
Wow.
Oh.
That's Tony Stewart in the 81 and Mike Bliss in the 20.
And both these guys drive for Joe Gibbs.
Yep.
Tony, this is not a Joe Gibbs car that Tony Stewart is driving now, but he drives tomorrow in the Nextel Cup, the Home Depot car.
Tire rub looks okay.
NASCAR has asked the drivers of cars 81 and 20 to settle down just a bit. There was something going on there when Ashton Lewis when Tony got back on the lead lap, and then Tony ran up on the 20.
The magic of videotape, we'll see.
That's right after he got his lap back. Mike stuck his hand out the window there.
Looked like he waved him by.
Yeah, it did look like he was going to wave him by.
Don't know. Meantime, Tony Stewart is now back in the lead. We've recycled through all the pit stops, and here he is in front. But Hornaday, he had about a 3 or 4 second lead on Hornaday, and now Hornaday will be right on his rear bumper.
And Hornaday may have a vibration, may have a tire going out. Maybe he does have a vibration, maybe a tire vibration.
Here comes Hornaday.
Yep.
Robbie Gordon.
24 laps to go. These drivers coming onto pit road.
Mike McLaughlin, 25 car. Strimmy, 32.
Matt.
The caution came at a great time for Ron Hornaday. He was complaining of a vibration. They were talking about possibly pitting, and then the caution came out. 4-tire change for Hornaday. Remember, he did have a set left because NASCAR gave him an extra set because his first set was flat spotted, Dave.
Matt, Wally had a set of tires left. The car was just a little bit tight, and he was back in the lead lap car. So, good time to pit. They will change for, filling full of fuel. These are scuff tires with about 15 laps on them. They're supposed to be pretty good, Matt. Marty?
Dave, Robbie Gordon already back on off of pit road, came in running 6. He said, I'm so loose, I've got to pit, guys. 4 tires, 2 rounds down on the track bar for the 55 car.
So working caution, lap 178. Tony Stewart, the race leader. What's going to happen in the final 23 laps? Strategy will play out when we come back to Kansas. Here's your race recap. Trouble started early. Lap 3, Ron Hornaday in the 2, and championship leader Martin Truex Jr. into the wall, behind the wall for 29 minutes, then came back out. On lap 47, currently scored in the 30th position. On lap 48, Tony Stewart inside of Casey Kane and goes to the lead. Lap 67, pit stops. The 21 car for the young guy. Miller slides through his stall.
And then Clint Boyer, the 21 car, smacks the wall up.
Halfway, David Green, defending champion of this race, blows up. He's done for the day. Lap 106, Kyle Busch back out on the track.
And then Matt Kenseth, the 9 car, off turn 2, just loses control, goes down, hits the inside wall. And
be a 4-lap dash to the finish. Tony Stewart takes the green. Nemechek second, Biffle third, Lewis fourth, and Jason Keller in fifth.
All right, let's see if Nemechek has anything for the 81 car today. It doesn't look like he's not closing up on him. That's not to say he's not going to. First corner, he thought that Nemechek might run in on the back bumper of Tony Stewart. Didn't happen. It's not looking good.
Stewart has been strong all day. Started 11th. This is his 40th start in the Busch Series, looking for his first win, 3 to go.
Tell you what, Nemechek right now seems like he's closing in a little bit. He pulled up behind the 81 going in 3, got him a little bit loose, and I thought he had him, but Tony able to stay back in front.
2 to go.
Nemechek's going to try it on the outside now. Drives up on the outside of Tony Stewart.
That's going to be a tough car to pass.
Oh, man.
There's the wall, and there's Tony, and there's Nemechek trying to get... And contact! Stewart is around. Nemechek goes to the lead. Caution is out. The field is frozen.
Oh, look out. Wally just barely missed him on the inside.
It's going to be a green-white checker.
It sure is. We're going to have a green-white checker finish. So Tony Stewart will not win his first Busch race.
Here we go.
Here we go. Final 2 laps, 1 attempt. Nemechek followed by Biffle down the backstretch.
Really good restart by Nemechek.
Especially under the conditions. You have to wonder, what the suspension feels like in that car.
All right, here we go. White flag this time by, but here comes Biffle trying to close in.
Joe's definitely going to make it work for it if he does get to him. I can promise that.
Last lap. Biffle starts to close in. Right about where Nemechek did on Stewart.
Here he goes on the inside. He's got the position. Remember, though, he's tried this before. Nemechek drives in hard on the outside. Oh, baby.
It's a drag race.
Nemechek to the outside. Biffle on the inside. Joe Nemechek wins at Kansas.
Sturman came home 3rd.
Wow. Man, oh, man, was that... a great finish or what?
Good job, man.
You did just what you said, BP. Came back on the outside.
Yeah.
Got him.
So Gary Putnam, congratulations to you.
And it's going to be a big one for the Nemechek family. You saw the reaction of John Hunter. And Joe Nemechek pulls into victory lane, as Matt said, first time since June of 2003 for this family-run organization. And John Hunter is here with Dad now. First of all, Joe, I know you're excited. Tell me about the contact with the 81.
Well, man, I am so sorry. I got to tell Tony Stewart I'm sorry. I drove it down the corner and got on the outside, and I had my nose up beside him. I didn't want to give up that territory. You know, there's only a couple laps to go, and I wanted to get there. And, man, I'm just sorry, but I got to say thank you to this whole Cellular One Chevy crew. Gary Putnam, all these guys here, got a lot of new guys on this team. These guys have been working their hearts out, and got to thank Nortel, Precision Gear, Matco Tools, Chevrolet. Just man, it's been so hard. It's been such a frustrating year. Also want to thank Fluid Down, Wagner Automotive, Nortel Networks, and also Hills Brothers. Everybody that keeps this thing funded and keeps it running.
Thanks, Matt. Take a look at the unofficial results from Kansas. Joe Nemechek with the win after the contact with Tony Stewart.
And Ashton Lewis, that great finish. Hornaday comes back to finish in 5th spot after that crash at the 3rd lap. And Wally, 10th spot. At least don't have to wash a car.
Michael Waltrip came home 12th. Kenny Wallace, the last car on the lead lap.
Pole sitter Paul Menard, 17.
And Brandon Miller, 29 car, his first race for Childress, just 1 lap down in 16th.
And these are some of the guys that had a disappointing day,
including Kyle Busch and Mark Truex Jr.
All right, and of course, Tony is 5 laps down because the race went past the 200 lap mark. Take a look at the Busch Series Championship standings after the 28th race of the season. And this is unbelievable. These two guys at the top came in separated by 156 points. Truex involved in the early wreck, then Busch knocked out of the race, fought their way back in. The difference, just 149. Wild.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's one.